Hey guys, welcome back to Chariot Palmistry. My name is Sulabh Jain, and in this video I'm going to be updating you guys my predictions for the stock market, gold, silver, Bitcoin, and also talking about politics and how those predictions are going to be panning out for the rest of this year. So at the start of this year, I basically said that there were going to be three seismic shifts energetically happening throughout the year. The first was going to be March, and then there'd be one in September, and then another one in the middle of November. So we're pretty much done with the first two, although we're still rattling from the end of September still. November is going to be a key month this year. So let's talk about the stock market. Let's talk about where all this energy is going to go. But before we do that, let's step back to the October video and see how my predictions went for that month. So this is a screenshot of my October video and what I thought would be happening in that month. Now, because of Rahu's transit that took place at the end of September, I calculated the month of October to be about 6 weeks. So the start of October to the middle of November. So we're technically still in that phase right now, but I had two predictions. The first, that the price of Bitcoin would rise, and it actually went up something close to 30%. From about 10,000 US dollars to around about 13,000 US dollars. Now that 30% rise surprised even me, because when I made that prediction, I thought it'd be close to like 15 or 20%, but yeah, I'm happy to be pleasantly surprised that way. My other prediction was that there'd be more political scandals around the world. And my God, there were so many this month. I can't throw up screenshots of all of them, but there are a few that I'd really want to focus on. The first is this Hunter Biden laptop situation that went on. In fact, in my last video, I actually predicted that Joe Biden would perform very poorly in the second presidential debate, which actually ended up getting cancelled. But on that exact same day that the debates were supposed to happen, a story broke of Hunter Biden basically doing the dodgy, corrupt thing, trying to get money from foreign governments. So there's an energetic lesson here that you can try and avoid your fate only so much before it catches up to you. Look, Hunter Biden is clearly corrupt. I think the Trump family kids are corrupt as well. So it's not like A is better than B here or anything. But that scandal did take place, and it's obviously going to factor into the US elections, which I'm going to be talking about towards the end of this video. But the two other big scandals I'd want you to focus on this month was that Boris Johnson got caught with his pants down having an affair, and there was also a huge amount of civil unrest happening in Pakistan. And for those of you who have been following my channel, I've been saying since the start of this year that there's going to be chaos in 4 countries: the US, China, Russia, and Pakistan. The first 3 have basically already happened. Pakistan is taking place right now. So all eyes should be on the US because of their election, but also on Pakistan because the energetic pivot over there is about to shift in a very big way. So those were my predictions there, and I think going into the month we were at about 15 out of 16 correct. And because we got those 2 right, I'm marking myself at about 17 out of 18 predictions right so far this year. Now let's have a look at November, because on this same screenshot we've got this list of predictions here. I think there's going to be more money printing happening, and that's pretty much a given at this point in time. The Republicans have come out and said they're going to print money or do stimulus at the other side of the elections. Donald Trump basically said it's going to be the biggest stimulus ever. Like his wall, it's going to be so huge, no one's ever seen stimulus this big. The Democrats have come out and said they're going to print $6 trillion. So it looks like that prediction is going to go ahead, and so we'll see how that one pans out after the election. I'm also predicting a stock market rise happening, I believe, in the last week of November. I also think the price of gold and silver is also going to go up, and the same for Bitcoin and the cryptocurrencies. These are all anti-dollar investments, and when the dollar goes down due to uncertainty or money printing, these things go up. So we'll come back and reevaluate that maybe in the first week of December, but it's a 6-week month that I'm calculating from middle November to end of December. Now the big spanner in the works here energetically is the US elections, because right now we're still in that 6-week period where Rahu is dominating the zodiac. So let's have a look at my roadmap for what I think is going to be happening with the US elections. So this is a screenshot from an earlier video I made about, as I said, the roadmap of how things are going to pan out in the US. And my first prediction was that there'd be some sort of political insecurity in Britain that would lay the foundation for what would happen in the US. What actually ended up happening was the EU sued Great Britain. And because that happened over there, I think the outcome of the US election is going to be decided in the courts. In other words, the energy of Britain will mirror the energy of the US elections relatively closely that way. My second prediction was that there'd be scandals for both candidates in September. That happened. I also predicted that there'd be an uncertain outcome to the election in November. That's pretty much a given at this point. The amount of distrust that Trump's trying to breed in the election process means that he's going to challenge the results no matter what. Biden, I'm pretty sure, is going to be doing the same thing too. Both sides actually have lawyers employed right now before the election in order to contest the election once the results are officially released. So the next thing after that is there's going to be some states talking about secession. I predict a bond market or US dollar confidence crisis. That will play into my earlier prediction about the rise of gold, silver and Bitcoin. And I also predict that the results will be delivered at the end of December. So a lot of political commentators at the moment are thinking the results will be delivered 1 or 2 days or 1 or 2 weeks at most after the election. I actually think it's going to be a little bit further back from there. This whole chaotic period will drag on, I think, until mid to late December. And then the very last prediction here, one we won't know for a while, is that there's going to be an injury or accident to the head of the president in March or April of 2022. So we'll come back and revisit that in maybe a year and a half or 2 years from now. But this is the energy I want you guys to pay attention to in the US. The other area to pay attention to is Pakistan. As I said before, that area is getting very volatile right now. It's one of the big 4 countries that I wanted you guys paying attention to. So have a look at the headlines in the US relative to these sequence of predictions that I just gave you, but also keep an eye out for the headlines out of Pakistan too. That's going to tell us how the energy will sit going into 2021. That year, by the way, is going to be one of the most optimistic years in recent history. But it's going to be false optimism. And towards the end of this year, I'll make a new video giving you guys my predictions on how things are going to pan out into 2021 too. But that's a video for another day, guys. If you want to support this channel, think about becoming a member and clicking on this link. For a few dollars a month, you get lots of really cool videos just like this. Thanks a lot.